A lot of people, of course, are looking to Washington to fix the economy, and the congressional supercommittee created to cut the deficit held its first hearing today. The 6 Republicans and 6 Democrats have a little more than 2 months to find $1.2 trillion in savings. But congressional correspondent Nancy Cordes reports they're under pressure to do a lot more than that.
With the national debt topping $14 trillion, several members of the supercommittee said today their task to cut $1.2 trillion just isn't bold enough. Democratic Congressman Chris Van Hollen of Maryland.
And I think it's time for this committee to get real.
Democratic Senator Max Baucus of Montana.
We have a duty, I think, to think even bigger, aim higher, ensure our country is on sound fiscal footing for the long term.
How much bigger? Alan Simpson and Erskine Bowles, who chaired the commission that President Obama created to figure out how to cut the deficit, are among a growing chorus of voices on both sides pushing for $4 trillion in savings.
That's the minimum amount of deficit reduction we need in order to stabilize the debt and put it on a downward path.
House Speaker John Boehner agreed with Bowles today, saying bipartisan support would grow with a larger plan where everyone shares the pain.
I spent months working with the president, trying to do the big deal. And I always believed that it would be easier to get the votes if, in fact, we got a big deal.
Douglas Elmendorf, the director of the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, warned the supercommittee today that budget cuts should be spread out over time to protect the fragile economy.
The combination of policies that would be most effective, according to our analysis, would be changes in taxes and spending that would widen the deficit today but narrow it later in the decade.
Cutting $4 trillion from the debt would almost certainly require new revenues from taxes and big reforms to Medicare and Medicaid. The supercommittee is going to have to decide soon how big it wants to go, Scott, because their recommendations are due before Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Nancy.